Okay, ladies and gentlemen of geometry, this is 7.3, talking about arcs and chords, kind of exactly what they are and what they sound like. So what you need to be able to do, recognize the relationships between arcs, chords, and diameters, and be able to solve with them. So let's kind of get right in. So in the same circle or congruent circles, two minor arcs are congruent if and only if their corresponding chords are congruent. So basically what that says is this. It says if this chord is congruent to this chord, then this arc is congruent to this arc. So if segment FG is congruent to segment JH, then arc FG is congruent to arc JH. And that it works flipped around too. So if I said, you know what, this arc is congruent to this arc, then I could say that chord's congruent to that chord. So in the embroidery hoop AB, the chord AB is congruent to chord CD. Arc AB is 60, figure out arc CD. Well, these two chords are congruent. That means the arcs are congruent. So that means CD is going to be 60 degrees. Notice the arc, not the chord. Two different things we're talking about here. So circle J, circle K, MN, the arc, is congruent to PQ, the arc. 2x plus 1 is going to be equal to 3x minus 7. So the arcs are congruent. That means those chords are congruent. That means set them equal to each other. Just an algebra problem that you've done 100 times in your life. So x is going to equal 8. If they want to know, figure out what PQ is. So 3 times 8 minus 7. So that's 24 minus 7. So that's going to be 17. Now, in circle W, RS is congruent to TV. Okay, the arcs, notice how it's labeled, the arcs. So RS is congruent to TV. Then from that I can conclude RS, the chord, is congruent to TV, the chord. So that means 5x minus 9 is equal to 2x plus 3. And they want to figure out RS. We're actually trying to figure out how long this thing is. So x, like you're solving, little division, x equals 4. Okay, but if you leave it like that, you're not done. That means 5 times 4 minus 9. So RS is going to be 11. So diameter or radius is perpendicular to a chord. It bisects the chord and the arc. Bisects means cuts in half. So that means that is equal to that. And the chord is also bisected. All right, so that's kind of the idea. Now, it also works backwards. So if these two are equal and or these two are equal, that means this is a radius or a diameter. So this is quite obviously a radius. That means it's going to cut this in half. So that means it's going to make those two congruent as well. PQR is 98. Figure out arc PQ. Arc, please, not the side. So that's 98 divided by 2. That's going to be equal to 49 degrees. In circle S, figure out what PR is. Well, if this is 6, that bisects, that makes that 6. So that entire thing is going to be 12. Sorry, that's a terrible looking 2. That's better. So circle J, the diameter is 30 inches. KM is 22 inches long. Figure out JL. Okay, so diameter is 30 inches. That means that the radius would then be 15 because the radius is always half a diameter. KM is 22 inches long. That means if I cut it in half, that makes that 11. So that makes this 15 because it's still a radius. I went from the center to out. But now if I look, this is a right triangle with this is 15, this is 11. The remaining side is JL, which is exactly what I'm looking for. Right triangles, I feel like I can do something with right triangles if I know two sides. It might rhyme with Pythagorean theorem, if that's what you're thinking, that is genius. So I want to go x squared plus 11 squared equals 15 squared. So that's 121, that's 225. So a little subtraction. So x squared is going to be equal to 104. So if I square root that, So that's going to be approximately 10.198. So that's what x will equal. So that's how long that is as it does. So in the same circle or in congruent circles, two chords are congruent if and only if they are equidistant from the center. So it doesn't have to go all the way out. If two chords are the same distance away from the center, then they're going to be congruent. So equidistant means equal distance. So that's kind of what I'm talking about. So look, WX is congruent to XY. They're both 22. Figure out how big AB is. Okay, so these two chords are congruent. That means that they are equidistant from the center. So that means 5x equals 3x plus 4. So subtract 2x, subtract 2x. So that's, or 3x, sorry, 3x. You'll get 2x as an answer. So x equals 2. So how big is AB? Well, that's going to be 10. There's my answer. Okay, I know there's a lot of ideas here. Make sure you keep them all straight. Look over them, study them, and come back to me.